welcome to today's Yang2Yin. I've got 2 blocks with me today. If you don't have blocks, maybe grab just something stable. I used to use my drink bottle here and there when I've been on yoga places where I haven't had anything and they haven't had anything. So just use what you can. If at all you need to take it easy, always take those options. You know, with the yang, sometimes it can be pretty full on. And another thing I want to really call to mind is we've had this sort of cold breeze blowing, like it's really dropped temperature wise, and in the Ayurvedic sort of practices, that brings in a lot of that vata energy. So that vata is, you know, that it can create anxiety in us. It's like takes us off our grounding, you know. So today's practice is going to be like a lot about really landing back on earth and grounding down. So yeah, to sort of combat that derangement that can happen with that vata energy if it comes in too strong. So I don't know whether any of you felt that today, but I definitely react to when it gets cold. Even my hair does. My hair goes straight, like it's almost like that in with cold weather. So it does affect us greatly. First of all, I'm going to get you to settle into child's pose. For today, if you are comfortable bringing your knees closer together, I really want your belly on your thighs. I want you to be able to feel your belly. If you need a little bit more space, just take them slightly wider. But what I want you to avoid is taking your knees really wide, like to the edges of your mat. We tend to talk to that a little bit when people first start, to give a lot of space for the sacrum. But what it also does when your knees are really wide, you have no support for your lower back, and it can really drop in and put too much strain on that lumbar spine. So I want a bit of support. Reach the arms forward, and I want you to come up onto fingertips here and let the head drop. Now that might lift you a little too high for your head to touch the floor, and that's fine. If that's the case, just let your head hang. It doesn't actually have to touch the floor. And in some cases, it doesn't do that anyway. So firing up the hands, pressing down into the fingers, just letting the back of the neck feel nice and long. And then bring your awareness to where your breath is without changing it. Notice if you're breathing through your nose or your mouth. And there's no right or wrong here. You've been doing an all right job at breathing since birth, so just stay with it. But today we're going to cultivate that Ujjayi breath, which is the breath that really supports us, the breath of victory. Supports us through our practice. So slowly start to bring that into the body, contracting the back of the throat. And I want you to notice if you are able to press the belly against the thighs. And if not, I want you to work a little bit harder at getting the breath down into the belly to start with. So inhale, it initiates at the belly. And it ends as the belly pulls to the spine. And keep pressing into the fingers. I know the arms are getting a little noisy there. That's okay. Turn the gaze towards the breath. Pressing down into the fingertips. Really feel like you're drilling your fingers down into the earth as the breath keeps flowing. And we're starting to really create that billow effect in the belly. So we're getting the billows to work really strongly. And when you're ready, let the hands come down onto the mat. Come up onto all fours. Now already with just those fingertips really working to press down into the earth, we've created a lot of blood flow into the fingertips here. Dropping into a cat-cow just for one. Inhale, drop the belly. exhale around through the upper spine. One last little dropping of the belly. And we're going to go straight back into downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Pressing down into the hands and try to draw the heels a little closer to the floor as you exhale. Deep breath in. And a smooth, emptying breath out. Breath in, last one here. Empty fully. Bend knees, look forward, stepping to the front of the mat. Feet are good hip width apart. Half lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Now for this one, I want your hands to be on the floor and just a little bit in front of your feet, directly in front. Hug your elbows in nice and close. And if this is too much for your hamstrings, you're going to grab those blocks and you're going to just lift yourself up a little higher. Because what I want you to feel for is that ability to really activate, like you're going to wrap your elbows in so the triceps activate, and then press into your hands. It's like you're trying to push your butt up towards the sky by pressing into the hands. Let the head just drop. And we're going to breathe, inhale, and exhale. Looking down at the hands, now we're going to wrap elbows in even more and draw the hands back towards the feet. And we're feeling for now the activation in the chest muscles. Still the triceps are working. And at this point, it's very tempting to just drop the butt down and just ease off the legs. But I want you to be pressing the hips high. So we're working all of these points in the body, but we're keeping the breath nice and smooth and empty. One more breath. See if you can ignite without strain and soften and slowly come on up to stand. Roll the shoulders. Bring the big toes to touch. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, sweep wide, lift the gaze. Exhale, empty down. Half lift, pulling the chest forward. Step back to a high plank. Now here, option is always there to drop the knees, or you can come up if you're wanting to up onto your little fingers to just give them a little bit more of a workout today. Take a breath, drop your knees. Either stay up on fingertips and draw elbows back as you lower. Baby cobra, fingertips still pressing. And flatten the hands down, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Breath in. Maybe even try coming up onto those fingertips, even here. Last breath in. Fully empty. Bend knees, look forward. Step right foot first, left foot follows. Half lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Rise and sweep to the sky. Hands melt to the heart space. Drop the hands by the sides here and really plant the feet down. I want you to feel those fingertips now. You might even want to wiggle them around. Quite an onslaught for those when we're not used to it. Reach tall on the next breath. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Stepping back to a high plank as you empty the breath. Again, option to play around with this. It does take a lot of strength and you need to build up to that. So by all means, let it go. Take a breath. You can drop knees here, pull the chest forward and lower. Baby cobra again, inhale. And downward facing dog, let's plant the hands first. And then come back to the downward dog. Again, option to play around, coming up onto fingers, strengthening into these parts, like really drilling the fingers down into the floor. They're a lot stronger than you think. And one more breath. Empty. Bend knees, look forward. Step to the front. A little bit like us, we're a lot stronger than we think we are. Fold as you empty the breath. Rise, hands reach to the sky. Hands melt to the heart space. Drop the hands by the sides, and again, just wiggle fingers if you need to. And just feeling into, the sensations, they might be a little different. And try not to go into that naming where, it's good or bad. It's just a different sensation that we're starting to elicit from our body. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, fold. Inhale, coming up onto those fingertips. Place the hands, step or float back into your Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, empty back. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Two more of those. Inhale. And find yourself as you exhale, really pressing down into both hands and feet, nice and evenly. Inhale. And exhale again, switching to that stability that's beneath you, grounding down. Well, stay with that heaviness in your left foot. Heaviness in both hands, so you're really pressing down. And let that right leg just lightly lift to the sky. Now notice you might need to bend that left knee a little more. You want that right leg to float even higher, but check that your hands are pressing evenly. And as much weight is going into the hands as what is going into the foot at the back. Deep breath in. Bend that right leg and bring it into the chin, tiger's curl. Inhale, we're going to take it back. And exhale, bring it in again. Do that again while I put my earbud back in. Inhale. And this time, as we bring it in, we're going to place the foot down, coming up into our crescent lunge. Inhale, coming up. And exhale, lengthen forward. Bring the hands back into those Stakasana arms. So sort of prepping for a little bit of flight, but we're not going there yet. I want you to take a deep breath, let the chest brighten. And as you exhale, wrap your front ribs in, trying to create this really long diagonal line. Rise up onto the toes of that back foot. And as you exhale, press the heel back, and that makes you come deeper into this lunge. So we're going to add the arms for this now. Inhale, take the arms, come up onto the toes, reach the hands forward, and exhale, we're going to take them back. Heel drops back, we get really heavy. Inhale, rise. And exhale, press the heel back, fingertips pull back, but the heart stays pulling forward. Inhale, just bring the hands forward, leave the heel back, stay really deep in that lunge. Inhale, this time lift the heart to the sky, the thumbs can wrap. Open out, Warrior Two. Now there's a real temptation to bounce out of that, to release it. So I want you to stay low, nice and heavy. Keep the weight down. Press into the feet. Breath in. Breath out. Breath in. So really drawing that strength, that you can feel these big muscle groups really starting to work here. And just tap into that energy and let it sort of really permeate the rest of the body. One more breath. Hands either side of the foot, chaturanga. Upward facing, press into the hands to lift the heart. Downward facing. Let's see if we can do these tiger's curls on this side without me losing my earbuds. So just settle into the breath. Again, as you empty, really feel for the earth beneath you. Feel for that connection there. Inhale. Exhale. Left leg rises. And as we exhale, we're going to look for that heaviness in hands and the foot. So really pressing down to allow that left leg the lightness. Take a breath. As you exhale, knee into chest. Inhale, take it back. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, take it back. Bringing it in. Feel for that pressing down to lift right up. Look down. Place the foot lightly. Crescent lunge. Inhale. And we're going to come in to that diagonal line. Again, hands back. So really let the wingtips pull back here. You want that feeling of openness on the chest without popping the ribs. So ribs wrap in. We're a nice long line. Come up onto the toes and just sort of feel it. Exhale, drop a little deeper. Now find that. And then inhale, let's add the arms. Reach them tall. Exhale, bringing them back. Rising up onto the toe of the back foot. Reach the arm forward. Exhale, coming deeper in. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale. Hands come up. The heel stays back this time. Empty the breath. Then peel the heart open to the sky. Opening out. Warrior two. Inhale. Exhale. Now really play with that concept of dropping deeper in. Pressing into the feet rather than collapsing in. So using that presence and strength. And taking one more breath. Hands to the mat. Chaturanga. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Let's take 3 breaths here. And empty. Notice if that vata energy, that windy energy representing the air and ether is taking you away, or has been. And allow yourself to combat that with just feeling into the weightiness, the presence of your body, the presence of the earth beneath you that you can tap into, keep us grounded. And let's flow with that just in our own pace. So if you want to back out of any of those and not stay with all of that movement, you can just come back into downward dog whenever you're ready. Let's go with the right leg. Inhale, lift. Tiger's curl. Exhale. Place the foot down. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, hands back, arrowhead. Inhale, rise up onto the toes of the back foot. Bring the fingers forward. Exhale, drop the back heel back, take the hands back. Keep the heel back, bring hands forward, interlace thumbs, stretch really long, and next inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, open out. Just one breath here. Hands to the mat. Chaturanga as you empty the breath. Inhale, press into the earth.
exhale, back we go. Breath in, just one here. Fully empty. Left leg rises. Tiger's curl. Place the foot lightly. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lengthen. Hands come back, diagonal line. Inhale, rise up onto the toe of the back foot. Hands come forward. And exhale, heel goes back, hands go back. Keep the heel back. This time, hands come forward. Interlace thumbs. Exhale. Heart lifts to the sky. Opening out. Warrior two. Breath in. Hands to the mat. Chaturanga. So that presence of the earth there. Accepting us. Inhale. Supporting us. Empty back. Deep breath in. Keep the breath nice and slow. Empty. One more of those. Right leg lifts. Tiger's curl. Foot lands lightly and we really plant it down. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands go back. Rising onto the toes, reach the arms right forward. Exhale, heel goes back, hands go back. Keep the heel back, stay deep in the lunge. Bring the arms forward, interlace thumbs. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, opening out. One breath, inhale. Hands to the mat. Chaturanga. Inhale. Exhale, straight onto left leg. Inhale, it rises. Tiger's curl. Foot lands lightly and then we press it down to come on up. Arrowhead. Inhale, rise into the toes, back foot. Exhale, deep in the experience. Stay deep. Hands rise. Thumbs interlace. Empty the breath. Heart lifts. Inhale, fully connected. Exhale, open out. Breath in. Come to the mat and allow your flow to support you there. Empty back. 5 breaths. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, really nice opportunity to just turn the gaze inward. If you can do that with your eyes open, go with that. Feel all the points that are pressing down. Really stay with that connection rather than just being swept away on the breeze. One more breath. Step the feet together, right foot rises. Bring it through, tiger's curl again. It's spending time creating this shape. We're really moving away from momentum because that is very vata, momentum. Inhale, coming back up. Coming back into this familiar shape, so this diagonal shape. Hands pulling back. Rise onto the toe of that back foot. Now we're going to start taking the weight into this front foot. Maybe you need to step that back foot in a little. Some of you are able to do that. Bent leg, Dakasana. So we want that leg really bent. Front leg bent, back leg strong. Rise and straighten the leg. Exhale, lower, staying in that shape. Inhale, rise. And exhale, lower. Come a little deeper if you can. Inhale, rise. This time, exhale, bring the back knee to the back of your right knee and come really low. Stay as low to the ground as you can. Heart pulling forward. Take a breath. Empty. Pop back up. See if you can go straight back into the straight leg. Bend and land. Crescent lunge. Hooly dooly. Open out. Warrior two. Try not to bounce. We want to keep that there. Breath in. Breath out. Extended side angle. So let's try and go hand to floor. Arms straight up. And then over. Breath in. Breath out. Try and wrap that right thigh underneath there. Stay with it. Empty. Looking to the floor, place the hands either side. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing. Breath in. Breath out. Breath in. Stay with the hands, the feet pressing. Breath out. One more. And empty. Step the feet together. Left leg rises. Tiger's curl. Exhale. Place the foot lightly. Crescent lunge. Inhale. Exhale. Coming into that diagonal. So now we sort of know where we're going. Come with me. Let's come up. Bent left leg. Right leg strong and straight. Heart pulling forward. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Bend back knee to the back of your left and come low. Breath in. Breath out. Two more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Empty. All of your strength here. Press down to lift that leg back, then land. Inhale. Warrior two. Straight into extended side angle. Peel the arm. Hand reaches over. Stay with what is present in your body, the feet pressing. Avoid going into that complaint department. That's that vata energy trying to take you off. Stay with that consistency. One more breath. Hands frame the foot. Chaturanga. Inhale. And downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Grounding breath. Open out the mouth. Another one of those. Inhale. Open the mouth. One more breath. Mouth closed. Bringing the feet together. Inhale. Setting up to come to the front. Step off slope. Half lift. And fold. Half lift again. Heel, toe, feet a good hip width apart. Pada Gastasana. So this is sliding the two fingers in between the toes. And elbows pull. This connection of hands, hasta, to pada, feet, big toe pose. Everything connected to the earth. Breath circulating. Take one more breath. Gently release. half lift here. For this next pose, you might need blocks handy, and they'll be up on their higher edge for a lot of people, or you might not need them at all. So just have them handy. We're going to slowly come on up. And take a moment in this new orientation and just feel where you're at. I know we've done a lot of firing up into the hamstrings there. So now we're going to release a little bit of the glutes. Step onto the left foot, right ankle bone on the top of the thigh. You don't want your foot to slide past, so you don't want your foot to be over here. You really want it to be right above the knee and on the thigh bone, and it's the ankle bone pressing back that's going to pull your knee out. What we're going to do is reach the arms forward and sink a little deeper. Let's sweep the arms back and exhale, bring them forward. Maybe go a little deeper. Inhale, just playing around with our balance. Exhale, the fingers are holding us so we can go deeper still. Inhale, exhale. Now we're settled in. Hands can either come to the floor, maybe to the blocks. Head curls down. Option to stay here if you wish to, otherwise hook that foot against the arm and come into the arm balance, the flying pigeon, keeping the breath smooth. Anyone in the arm balance, come back, meet everybody back. And we're going to slowly come out as we came in. Inhale, hands back. Exhale, sink deeper. Inhale, hands back. Come up a little higher. Exhale, arms forward. Inhale, rise. Exhale, land. Inhale. And exhale. Wiggling into your toes there. Move the feet. Feel the presence and the texture beneath the feet. When you're ready, stepping onto the right foot, let's do that on the other side. Ankle bone across knee, really trying to open out. Inhale, exhale, the sink. Inhale, hands come back. Exhale, option to bend that right knee a little more. Inhale, play with this balance. Does challenge us. Exhale. Inhale, really feel the presence of your right foot pressing down. Maybe you do that one more time. Maybe you bring your hands to the floor. Maybe they have to sit on a block. It doesn't matter. As long as you feel for the connection of where you're pressing into the earth. If you feel like taking the arm balance, take that option, always there. Stretch the leg or not. Coming back the same way. Exhale, press the arms forward. Inhale, hands back. Exhale, extricating ourselves just slowly. Inhale. Exhale, just landing lightly now. Walking through the feet. Letting the breath settle. So lighter energy is required. We need a little bit of that inspiration, that sort of fast-flowing energy times. But when it's deranged, when it comes in like these sudden days of freezing cold wind, it has that sense of derangement. So if you're feeling that, it's often really good to ground down into a steady practice like this. Inhale, hands rise. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift, inhale. and step it back, high plank. Inhale, lower chaturanga and hover. Inhale, lowering all the way down, and you might want to move yourself back a little on the mat there. Let the head come to one side, hands come down by the sides there, and just breathing into the back of the body. We're going to prepare for going into locust Samanbhasana. So hands can press down, or the backs of the hands can press down. So it just depends on whether you want your shoulders rolling in or opening. Feet lift, heart lifts. I'm trying to really pin the arm bones back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, spin the inner thighs to the sky. And let's lower down. Take the head to the other side there. And a breath in. And a breath out. Making one more of those. Empty. Squaring the head back up. And squeeze heels into the back. Reach back. Grab a hold of the feet. Try and hook the feet if you can. So you create like a little hook for the hands. And let yourself settle. Take a breath. As you exhale, knees lift, heart lifts. And let's lower down. It's time to bring the hands underneath the forehead so the neck stays nice and straight. Let the heels drop wide. If you need to wiggle your hips slightly side to side to release any tension, do so. And just feel the presence of your body in this prone position, laying connected to the earth, the ribs, the arms, hips, legs. That steadiness beneath you. And just take a moment to really feel just that complete and utter support. And that's a lot of what the practice of yoga does. It makes us realize just how much support we have around us. Let's bring the hands back to the lower ribs. And tuck the toes underneath, push the hips back to the heels. Again, not letting the knees go too wide. I want you to feel the presence of your breath against your thighs. You can come up onto these little fingers again, just to remind us that even when we touch the earth lightly, that we can have a lot of impacts. Take 2 more breaths here. And when you're ready, come forward. Tuck your toes. Let's make our way into a downward facing dog. A couple of slow, really deliberate breaths here. Moving the feet together, right leg lifts to the sky, bend the knee, open up the hip. As you open that hip up, I want you to press that left heel down towards the floor. There's a lot of space. And use that to open that right hip up just a little more. One more breath. Look forward. Bring the foot to the outside of your little pinky. And work the back foot back a little for me. Just wiggle it back. Then drop the knee down. I'm going to come into a version of runner's lunge here, and there's a couple of options. You can either stay here, hugging your knee in, and that's going to be really nice. We want that connection to the adductors to start with. You can reach the hands forward, and again, coming up onto fingertips and drop the head down, letting the hips sort of drop low. If you want to take this up a notch, you're going to lift the back knee. You're going to extend right through the back heel, and you're still going to try and hug that right knee in. And you're just going to support yourself here. Finding calmness in the breath. And one more breath. And gently bring the hands back, let the back knee come down. Turn the foot out to the side, so we pivot on the heel, get that 45-degree angle. The knee might want to roll open, and there's an option to rotate around. Sometimes that feels nice. Not everyone's hips like to open like this. If you're like that, you might not want to rotate. That's fine. Again, let the hip, that back, that left hip flexor drop down towards the earth. You might need to move the back knee to make it comfy. We're going to bend the back foot, reach back. And to do that, it's easiest if you bring your butt back a little, grab the foot, and then allow the hips to move forward. We're going to bring the heel to the center of the butt. It's going to squeeze in. This beautiful quad stretch there. And letting the hip lower a little bit allows that stretch to really take on the full length of those muscles. And then we release and let that foot go back down. Take a moment, come back to your downward facing dog. And just wiggle through the hips there. Working the heels a little bit closer to the ground, and you might notice that you have a lot more space. So we're pressing the heels down and trying to lift the hips up. You've got a lot more space that you've created throughout your practice. It's nice to sort of lean into that a bit. Now we're going to bring the feet together. Left leg lifts, bend the knee, open it up. And lower that right heel down. It might even connect with the earth. Lift the knee a little higher and open through the side of the body. Look forward, bring the foot through, placing it lightly down. Wiggle that back foot back. So you really want to get this front knee so that when it bends, it's 90 degrees and not forward of the ankle. So you want to keep that nice and safe. Back knee can come down. I'm going to hug that knee towards the left armpit. And you can stay here. This is quite intense for a lot of people. This is like the runner's lunge. You can unfurl the back foot. You can do all sorts of things. The action you want to feel here is not that you're sitting up, that you're back, that you're actually allowing the weight in that right hip flexor to go closer to the earth. So it's that using gravity to do the stretch. Now, if you're wanting to take this up, there's always this option. Getting nice and long. And there's a buoyancy, but there's also like this letting the hip drop down. So we're really looking at lengthening. A brilliant one for runners, anyone that does a lot of running. Let's do one more breath. Hands coming back first, knee coming down. Foot pivots on the heel. And take that rotation if that feels nice. And hopefully you're feeling it more in and around this area than anywhere else. I'm going to push the hips back to grab a hold of the foot. And that's not available for everyone. So, you know, if you're tight through the quads or you've got funny knees, that's not going to happen. We let the hips come forward as we pull that towards the center of our butt. And it's like a melting towards the floor. And we gently release. We make our way back to that downward facing dog, the last one. Let's take some nice, slow, very deliberate stretches there through the back of the body. Big figure 8. Bring the feet together, right leg lifts to the sky. Look forward, bring the right knee to the right thumb. This time, we're going to set up for your half pigeon. Dorsiflex that front foot and allow yourself to settle, not rushing in. Coming down if you feel like coming down or staying on elbows. Again, I'm going to give you just a little option to go there, and you might do it for one breath. You might think, oh wow, this is my thing. You can come up onto fingertips here. You can tuck that back toe and lift. And the action here is you're pushing into the hands to push the weight back. You're firing up that muscle in the back, left leg, quads very ignited. And the right leg is very passive, except for the dorsiflexion of the foot. Check in that the breath is there to support you. Letting the back knee come down if it's lifted, and letting the hands come back beside the body. Coming up. I'm going to use the hands to lift that front knee back slightly. And then we're going to bring the back knee forward. I'm going to place that knee right behind our right knee. So left knee and right knee are tucked. And I'm going to get you to grab a block. Not all of you are going to need it, but some of you are going to want to place a block beneath your butt so that we sit back. What I don't want is your knees to pop like this so that there's a big gap. You want to keep the knees really pressing close to each other, and that's why the block allows that to happen. Some of you will be able to sit between your feet, but if you're like me and it pops up on one side that it tends to pop up on, I just use the block to give me that elevation so that now the external rotation can happen, and it's more that this can come down on top. And we're just going to sit there and allow it to soften. Really surrendering to the presence of gravity and that weightiness in the bones, feeling like we're connected. And we witness that Vata energy. I've been witnessing it in the last couple of days, not just in the weather, but because of this slight easing of restrictions, you know, we're seeing people race to get out. It's that, I think it's like the perfect storm. We get this cold snap and this breeze, and then a little bit of freedom. And, you know, pretty quickly people, I was witnessing a lot of people not social distancing, not, you know, sort of heeding all of the things that we've been sort of doing. And it's sort of, we've got to remember that there's been quite a few people, you know, have lost people to this pandemic. So, you know, it does have a weight to it, and we do need to honor that, and also not just get carried away with the first puff of air that comes our way, that first rush of freedom. Just really be present in what our body needs to stay safe. And as you feel that steadiness. Now these poses we need, like Omakasana, we need to sit for a while before these release. You know, it doesn't happen instantly. Not for most of us anyway. We're going to lean forward just for a couple of breaths, coming down, bowing. This is where the fingers can actually support you by lifting you a little higher. Allowing that stretch to come down into the glutes. And we're going to rock forward. If you have a block, remove the block. Place the hands, stretch the left foot back again, and sweep into a three-legged dog. Just give that leg a shake. And bring it down. Walk through the feet again. Bring the feet together, left leg lifts. And let's bring it through knee to thumb. Setting up for your half pigeon on this side. And I know Donna, who's watching, like being a teacher, I don't have to tell you how the wind affects kids. Teaching primary school kids on a windy day, I reckon needs a medal. And again, I want you to take the option that suits this side. So not every pose is equal on both sides of the body. Feel free to stretch it out, and if it feels right to come up and go into that more intensified version, feel free. But know that if your breathing changes here, like if you can no longer feel the depth of your breath, it's possibly taking you up away from your center, taking you into that more vata range. And what we're looking for here is that kapha, that heavier, more steadying balance to bring us down a little. Letting the back knee come down. And bring the hands back. Coming up. Again, we're going to pick up the front. We'll bring it back a little. And then bring the back knee right up and nestle it in as tight into that knee as you can. Again, option to sit up a little higher, and I always take that option because I do tend to know my hips don't love this naturally. I know when near have the difficulty I did when I first started doing this pose. So it does, each pose does have the ability to change in your practice. It's more our tendencies that affect our poses, like our tendency to shift out of it if it's uncomfortable or make excuses. I'm very good at that. I played a lot of sports, so I had lots of little injuries here and there, and they were the story I'd go straight for. I'd like, oh, I can't do that pose because of that, knee injury I did when I was 12 years old. That surprisingly hasn't affected me in any other way, but going to certain poses that I don't like. So it's that ability to drop away from the story. My teacher Rose, who I'm just infatuated with at the moment, she's this gorgeous 72-year-old tantric yoga teacher, and she just has these one-liners that make me laugh. And she was sharing her teacher was telling her once, don't get caught up in the content. Don't get caught up in the content, and it's like so true. We get so caught up in our stories, and that again is that vata energy that pulls you away from what really is present and just takes you off well and truly into storyland. Just feeling the bones settling into this new shape. Notice if there is resistance there in the body, and note it without a story attached. But also notice if it's more of a story going on in your mind. This awareness, this ability to see this is the first thing we need for us to shift and make change, to transform. I'm going to bow for 3 breaths, just allowing ourselves to go a little deeper. Stretch coming in up to the glutes. And they had to work fairly hard earlier, so this is a nice release. Nice, heavy, slow breaths. And when you're ready, we're going to pull the body forward, remove any block out of the road if you had one. If you're lucky. Tuck the back toe and stretch it out. A 3-legged dog, we're going to wiggle that around, and it can be as wild as you like there. The beauty of not having a class full of people is we don't have to worry about knocking anybody out with our feet. And let's come down into the knees. Sweep the legs through to the front. And bring yourself forward, reaching top. And fold. Paschimottanasana. Beautiful stretch. And 3 breaths, allowing your whole body to press down onto the thighs. If you need to bend your knees to allow that to happen. And then everything settling towards the earth. Slowly coming up and rolling down onto your spine. If you need to adjust to be on your mat. Once you arrive down, ponytails out of the road. Arms stretching out, or if you prefer the cactus, you can create that. I'm going to bend the right knee. Shuffle the hips over and take a supine twist to the left. Really let the back of that right shoulder nestle into the earth there. And once you've created this shape, let your body go soft. You tone the belly to bring the knee back, just to keep the spine safe. And bending both legs, shuffle the hips all the way over to the left. We're going to extend right foot. And take that twist to the other side. And again, no 2 sides feel the same. So rather than get caught up in the why, just feel what's going on in the body. Surrendering to gravity. And we're going to tone the belly to bring the legs back. Straightening up your spine. And make sure you're on your mat. Bring your knees into your chest. A happy baby. And you can choose to have your heels really close towards your butt there if you like to get that flatness across your spine. Or you can pick up the instep if you can still really unfurl the spine nice and long doing that. You're free to choose either. Your shoulders relax. And just letting go of the Ujjayi breath now, so that your breath becomes your natural breath. And a gentle smile begins to play on the lips. And a softening across the brow. I want you to stay in this shape for as long as feels right. And when it feels right to let the feet go, I want you to just find your way into your Shavasana with as little movement as possible. Just letting the feet drop, maybe moving your shoulder blades beneath you. And feeling the weight of your bones. And surrendering your whole body to the mat. And feeling that connection to not just the earth, but to the other people practicing in this class. And the threads that go deeper and to the people that we affect. And when we've practiced a grounding practice, we tend to be a lot more grounded in our interactions that come after practice. And choosing to stay in your Shavasana or meeting back here in 5 minutes. We're gathering